Hey guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. This is part 23, potentially the finale. If you remember from the last episode, this is still the same recording day, so I am here with a very sore Kaity.
Yes, I am heavily injured. I'm
Yes.
still doing it.
Yes. So, this is potentially the finale. You'll know before we do, because it will say finale on it. Hey, if this is the finale. So, yeah, because we have one more potential stopping point. So,
Honk.
honk. Chat just yelled honk if you're doing it. So honk. So we are back in the final stretch. We had our final recess. Gant has exercised his right not to testify, and Lana is supposedly going to tell the truth. Yeah, she's about to take the stand. So, a soft fish honk. So, so with that, and Emma's awake. Emma is awake and well, or as well as she can be. And yeah, we're gonna go. Miles still isn't doing well.
Oh.
Miles is not in a good place right now. Third PIC investigation in 3 days. Actually, no, he was just straight up promised punishment this time, not even an inquiry. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Ms. Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But, Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know that I have done these, all I've done for these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course, the truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I arranged the crime scene. My only motive was to get Dart convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Well, that's gone spectacularly. Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital punishment. Of course, I'm sure.
But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the very beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
What is she telling me? The truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah. This is no time to start second-guessing myself.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I love that sprite of Emma leaning on the desk. Emma practically crawling over the defense's bench because she's like wants to pull on her sister's muffler, like, stop it!
Hold it!
How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
It must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable. Damon Gant was a. I can speak. I swear to fucking God.
It's okay.
I know English. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why.
Hold it!
But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And
Hold it!
did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. What she did was just file self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago.
Hold it!
You said you did it all by yourself. Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck into the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died by an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh. That was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away during the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and then moved the body.
Hold it!
You planted the tip of Dark's knife in a victim's body?
And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to see for the sake of others.
What do you want to ask, Nick?
Why did you move the body? When you showed up at the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body.
The piece of the jar that shattered during the event threatened my plan.
Hold it!
Piece of the jar? You mean... Yes. That wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedite... wow, I just completely blanked on how to fucking...
Expedient. Expedient.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally looked at the last half of that sentence and went, what the fuck?
It's okay. I've been speaking Spanish today and you've been speaking German, so we're all caboozled.
I felt it would be more expedient to move the body.
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered into pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
I see.
What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Hold it!
So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened.
In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There is nothing I can do to make up for my actions.
Mr. Wright, my sister's lying.
Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it alone.
I've gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction.
Okay, so we've got two statements. Broke off the tip of the knife, moved it, planted it inside the wound, then moved the body. Pieces of the jar shattered during the events threatened her plan. So we've got...
A jar that was written on before it was broken.
Yes. And the kniff, which I don't think we have... We don't really have, well, no, we need we need the autopsy report. A knife tip was in the wound.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't contradict with the knife.
Yeah.
Because it was broken, so.
Yeah, it was broken. So yeah, it is the jar. Emma was written on the surface before it shattered.
Mm-hmm.
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that was true, If that truth were it, if that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that were shattered during the events threaten my plan." That's right.
Do you have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where your contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on the shattered jar.
Order, order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here.
Something critical?
Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got all of them. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Hold it!
So, the jar was already broken. It is a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier.
It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case.
Not as feeble as the judge's mind. Or judgment.
You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces?
Normally I would have. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all of the pieces on the ground and ground them into dust. Oh, that helps my case.
Lana, you'd do that for me?
It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was.
If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry.
I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
This is rather shocking.
Hold it!
I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened.
What do you mean?
If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away any of the blood. What else could I have done in this situation?
Lana.
I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything but gather up the pieces. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light with a camera, and a camera with me.
Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go.
I never miss anything. I got every last piece. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions.
I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident.
No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradiction in her testimony. There's one final possibility that could have turned everything around.
Okay. Let's see. It has to do with the goddamn jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma was written on the surface in blood. Like, how could you not notice that? Or it's the final fragment was found in Gant's safe, because she said she got all of them.
Let's just examine it again.
Okay. Oh, is this one of those things where we have to fucking check it?
Okay, so yeah, we can't see the crack lines anymore.
Yeah. Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here.
Looks like blood.
This piece the chief has is different, though. The bloodstains on the other pieces are just spots, but this one's a line.
That is odd.
So that's a contradiction. She didn't wipe everything away because there was a line.
Yep.
Which means that Gant got to it before her. So it's...
Yeah, she thought she got all of them. She was so sure of it.
Yeah, I'm sure I got them all, and then we present the jar.
Yes.
Because we found the fragment in his safe. And it says that in the description. Final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe.
I'm not the only one who can't speak today.
Oh no, I can never speak. English is hard. Do you know how hard it is to make the words go?
Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth that even you are unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
On the night of Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, You were not the first to show up to the crime scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
But couldn't the defendant simply have missed a piece?
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are far too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
Now, that may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? Taking us off of that denture tangent. When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar?
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
I like how every time it flashes to Aji, he's just going, "Mac, mac, 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 mac."
Yeah, he's gaping like a fish because he can't believe it.
No! Poor Aji. He's just sad for his friend. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called?
Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Ms. Skye became the Chief's puppet.
No, I did it on my own.
Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake.
No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies. Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth.
What? Wait a minute. What if... we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright?
Lana. Maybe right after all.
What do you mean, Wright? So, you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright?
Miss Skye, please testify once more. But... if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will. I can't.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth.
Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw.
All right. The witness may testify once more, for the final time.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof.
Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Oh good, the game's not going to play itself.
Nope.
Evidence law.
Yo. Hey, there's a picture here.
Oh my. This is the actual crime scene.
No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had arranged everything.
Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be...
The cloth we found inside of Chief Gant's safe. What's this?
This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whose ever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? But these fingerprints... They're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Surprise, motherfucker!
Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
And Chief Gant.
What? Now you want to make me out to be the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that.
What?
You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
This must be that risk we were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
So what? You think I'm worried? Hmm? You sure look it.
Yeah.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Sir, you had lightning bolts shooting out of you? You okay?
I don't know if I should be impressed or terrified.
Yeah.
I'm impressively terrified. But I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that's true. Oh, wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't. But someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Righto? Hmm? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for...
Is this true, Mr. Wright?
If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make this wrong decision. Should I present the piece of evidence? The one who shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall?
Nope.
Can't show it. Your Honor.
That is so tricky.
I don't have any evidence that can be presented at this time.
That's such a douchey move. I love this case for it, though, but it's so douchey. It's so clever. Damn it.
What? You lie.
Chief Gant.
You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nick and that smarmy shit-eating grin.
I love this boy.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department.
Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Hmm? Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
What? You mean you admit to it?
No!
Yeah, Gant's like, fuck no.
I was the first person to arrive at the scene of the crime that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her.
I knew Lana. If I made it look like if I made it look like the blame lay on her sister, then when she saw the scene, she would she would ask me for my aid.
So you assisted Miss Skye.
I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tamper with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean the 2 items in your safe?
But why?
For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work. But it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for the murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
What do you take me for? A fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. You see this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go ahead and wipe the blood off of all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too?
Ho ho ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Righto. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant? That you were hiding the cloth that you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do with that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer.
Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Righto. You should have you should have shown when you should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine.
Yeah, we have evidence.
Yeah, now we can, because it's now relevant. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now.
All right then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. That would be the cloth. You want it, Gant? Here you go.
You want it?
Here you go.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out a piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. At last you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. He yeets it across the courtroom. Just takes up the cloth like with his latex glove, just balls it up and throws it at Gant. You want it? Take it. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean... It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
You're slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints must belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they?
Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything is proceeding as predicted. The person whom these fingerprints belong to is...
Emma Skye. Emma? Emma Skye? What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Oh. You really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along. And you still tried to pin the murder on me.
So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death.
How could you? You monster!
Miss Skye.
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposefully concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned this poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Skye, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? Contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real murderer, or who the real killer is.
Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth.
That is the evidence law. Or no.
No.
It's Lana's picture.
Yeah.
Because it would have been blood-soaked. I'm jumping ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping ahead.
Stop it.
This is what my brain do.
What exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where that piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Sorry, that was you. Oh my god, I got so excited. I thought it was Udgy.
Since Emma Sky fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No. This is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armored sword?
Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue, and made Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out the bloodless piece of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you prove that you were the actual murderer. It's finally all over.
Oh, that's such a sad sprite. Droopy hair.
That was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations.
What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is legal evidence.
Order! Order! What nonsense is this?
Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Udgy? Early old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence that I can present at this point in time.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Do you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright?
It seems, at last, The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? No.
No, I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point in time. So that evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present it then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Aji, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. Can't really believe.
There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well. Let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Hey, I've got a kid's book.
I got a book from Pio. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written here in this book. The second rule of evidence law.
Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Holds up kid's book. I'm a lawyer!
I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have the approval of the police department.
Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the start of this, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take a look at the picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when that picture, when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
No.
He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes. No!
It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall at his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant. The killer was you. I can't do this.
It's okay.
I can't.
Let it roll.
It's powerful enough without.
It is. There are some that we're just not gonna voice. voice. I didn't even know if I could do Manfred's, to be honest.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty.
He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, and then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right.
If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me.
Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman?
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
It's not too late. I'm gonna hand all this over to Marshall.
well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. Then, when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood just poured out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was so worried about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint. On Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car.
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. But leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker.
I feel bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy. Why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me. We're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try and go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to the others as on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now that you have Wrighto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky? You no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your troubles. My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, might just make it to the top.
Oh, her beautiful smile.
I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Can we just appreciate Lana's, like, gorgeous smile?
I know, she's got such a pretty smile.
Oh, yeah, there it is, chat. There she is, my favorite sprite. The best sprite. Oh, Lana. This is the Lana that everybody knows.
Miss Sky.
And God, she's fucking gorgeous when she smiles.
Yeah, she is. And you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you.
It was nothing.
Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Oh my God! Chat!
Wow, holy shit.
Miles, show some vulnerability for once, you fucking rancid onion.
That went from like 0 to 100.
Oh my god. This is how chat shows their affection for Miles. I know it is. Oh
0 to
my
100, man.
god. Holy shit. This is all out of loving frustration, and I know it is. Damn. Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Well, this trial has gone on for far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty.
Not guilty.
That is all. This court is adjourned. So, court starts at 10, and it's now a little past 5. They were in court for 7 hours.
Yep, all day.
And, like, gumshoe confetu. I mean, I say confetu, so... But... but, I mean, that's not... I mean, that's not... I mean, shit, my mother is an, corporate law, bankruptcy to be specific, but corporate law, and, those trials can take all day when she has court. So, I mean, fucking, I mean, criminal cases are 10 times as long.
Oh, yeah.
Hence the 3-day limit, because the prisons were getting too crowded.
At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook. But at least she wasn't convicted of murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended...
I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have these past few days. And you've done well.
You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Oh.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You ever get the sense of deja vu?
All the time, pal. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run around while on duty, and to top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Oh my god, are we in a time loop, Mr. Wright?
No, we're not this time.
This time? What?
Never, no, nothing.
Is that what? You know what, never mind. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana.
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know.
Well, I won't tell if you won't.
That's a fair deal. Emma, I owe you an apology.
It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it.
That day, 2 years ago. It was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in this mess.
Sis.
I asked Aunt to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now,
Sorry, line again.
But now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distracting myself. But I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you would react if you knew.
But sis, you were only doing it for me.
No.
Huh?
I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you.
Sis.
I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry.
But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now.
You're happy?
Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
Oh, Emma. Emma.
No, the best CG ever.
No one can change the past.
Oh, we're just gonna stay on the CG for a minute. I need the serotonin. Oh. The Fae sisters and the Sky sisters are both fantastic and wonderful.
They are.
Oh, Ace Attorney knows right how to hit you in the family.
The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it's from there that we can move forward to a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe,
Me?
thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here.
Mom Lana. Mom Lana. Sweetie, stop hiding in the corner. Come say hi. Come say hi to your friends. Miles Nerdworth, get your dumb ass over here. No, this is Miles Angstworth. This is full Angstworth. Yep, there's the glower.
Where was he hiding?
I just came to say, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you.
It's too late for me.
What?
No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes.
Edgeworth.
Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you go it alone.
I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now.
But Edgeworth...
Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. They both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on your own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back on today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered.
Chat. Chat's just screaming Lana ships it. So does Gant.
Yeah, he does.
Everyone ships it. Everyone be third wheeling when these two walk into the courtroom.
Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pub quiz?
Come on, Mr. Wright. No, come on. Show him what Lana's talking about.
I'm scared for Edgeworth. Evidence, huh?
Mr. Wright is scared for Mr. Edgeworth?
Oh, no, Emma, not now.
Naruhodo, naruhodo. Oh. Japanese pun names.
Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own.
Come here, you. Come here, you. That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to restore the Emma's picture. That just didn't happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's time for me to go.
Edgeworth.
Mr. Edgeworth. if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor.
I'm calling you later. Edgeworth! What will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can't let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem.
Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court, and seriously, I'm going to call you.
Farewell.
Farewell? I'd better be going too.
Chad, have you been drinking?
Yes. Yes, they have. Didn't you read that earlier?
No, I think I passed over that. This is spectacular. Uh-oh. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. Hey, Lana, I have some notes that I've been really curious about, and I think I've almost hit it.
I suppose we can go through your notes later.
No, but like, I'm on like the verge of something. I know I am.
You'll figure it out.
Oh my god. Mr. Wright has a crush on Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
You do, don't you?
Look, it's a long story, and no, I mean...
You gave me so much trouble! You gave me so much sass!
Look, Emma, it's not what you think.
You gave me so much sass, Mr. Wright.
Detective Gumshoe, are you still here?
And you are... pal, I'm not getting involved in this.
Help.
I know.
I bought you a T-bone steak.
I don't know anything.
I bought you a T-bone steak. Help, please.
Mr. Wright, oh my god. You really,
I have a call. My phone's going off. I need to take a call.
Walking around Mr.
Hello?
Edgeworth's office.
Hello?
Mr. Wright, you are not on the phone
Wright.
with anyone. Get off the... She just grabs his phone. You have feelings for Mr. Edgeworth!
Let's move on, please.
I cannot believe you!
We're just good friends, okay?
No! No! Oh my god!
Moving on.
No, I'll be by to visit
Moving
you
on.
soon later, too!
Moving on.
Oh my god! Lana! Help!
She's just laughing.
Lana!
She's just over there laughing at this.
What, did you think that running gag wasn't going to be wrapped up? Oh, no, no, no!
It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do.
Yeah, like talking about those two. The audacity on him. You would not believe him during the investigation, walking around, oh, Emma, your crush is so juvenile, blah, blah, blah. That's a gay man. Well, of course he knows he's a gay man.
Emma, please calm down.
Mr. Wright's such a jerk.
Here, this is a little something for you.
A scientific investigation.
It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well.
With P.O.
With P.O.
Thanks, sis. I will. And I'll beat Mr. Wright over the head with it.
That's assault. There's a detective here.
I didn't say when.
And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. I have faith that their lives have only just begun. And so for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own.
Oh, look at all these faces! And of course, look who the last one is.
I'm giving him a call tonight.
Hey! Fucking gay seal just pops out.
A journey to rediscover myself.
I love how Capcom is just so not subtle. Well, don't go trek it off just yet, pal.
Oh, now you come to my rescue.
Hey, look,
Oh, what is it, Detective?
girls are scary.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm not, if it could be a conflict of interest, I'm not.
Girls are terrifying.
Well, there's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But,
I thought you said it was okay.
yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. There's this one guard. He's pretty calm, but, like, you make him mad, and, like, it's really, really bad, pal.
Oh, is he, like, really terrifying when he gets
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you should probably not cross him. Huh?
Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh?
Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who will be footing the bill.
Huh? Huh?
What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. I was fired.
Huh? Eh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Maud, do you have what I sent you? Up and open?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Come on, guys. Let's go. Okay. I asked that for this reason, and I love these credits.
I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days as in the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back in the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
A popular headcanon is that Lana becomes a defense attorney, which I subscribe to highly. Yikes, I thought it was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easy.
My new mission is to guard this entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner keeps an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'll make it to detective. Yes, sir. Then I could be just like Dick Gumshoe.
Meekins, you
Got the
sweet
hamster
man.
We got the hamster voice one more time.
I literally titled his interrogation or his stand episode, his witness, whatever, his testimony episode, "Let the Hamster Take the Stand."
Jesus Christ.
Good. Stay dead, demon. Down. Down with you. Down with you.
I'll be back.
The Blue Badger does not have the turret voice. Get the fuck out of here. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Oh, Jake! Your brother has been avenged, Jake. You can serve your sentence.
Looks like I won't be seeing... or we won't be seeing each other for a while. A farewell gift. I put a new meal on the menu. The Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is sweet as victory. Kids seem to be digging the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller at the time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something for, how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh, no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go.
Check chat real quick. Or deep stream stuff.
Oh.
You'll see why in a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh! Okay!
Yeah. I'm gonna debut something.
Okay! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya! Afternoon training's about to begin.
Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. That voice was so fucking cute. Katie's favorite assistant. Katie was born to voice kids. It's like, she's really good at it. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on? Incoherent squeaking. I know. I was so excited to hear that voice. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be all right. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book.
Let's investigate it.
And it's that picture that was left in Lana's office. I love this picture. Look at the baby Emma.
So cute.
Achievement unlocked, rise from the ashes. But we're not quite finished yet. Maybe? Really? They don't show it?
Nope.
I thought they
You don't
did.
find it- No, we find out in game 2.
Ah, okay.
That did not change.
Okay. Yeah, well, they did take the bellboy scene from the ending of the credits and then put it in Rise from the Ashes.
Yeah.
So that was originally in the end of Gyakuten Saibon on the GBA.
So that was Rise from the Ashes.
That was Rise from the Ashes, and
my favorite case in the entire friggin' series.
Yep, I'm now going to change things to just chatting.
And end the episode, or are we gonna put this part up on YouTube too?
No, we're gonna put this up on YouTube because you have capital F feelings about Damon Gant, who is one of the big bads.
Yes.
So Kaity started playing through, and she went, like, the first time he came into court, and he stared.
Oh my god, I was charmed right away.
Like, that. And I was like, and she was like, I like him. And I was like, Kaity, no. And she was like, Kaity, yes. And I was like, oh my god, all right. And then he ends up being the villain, and she's like, nope, I still love him. And she goes through the
I was like, I don't like him anymore. I love him.
Yeah, and then she goes through the whole series, and I'm like, all right, so who's your favorite big bad? And she's like, no, it's still Gant. And I'm like, really?
Oh my god, yeah, his like electric green eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, the HD did do a lot of really good, like, they let you see a lot of really cool details. Speaking of eyes, let's slip this in here. That Nick was originally supposed to have blue eyes, I believe it was.
Yes.
But the colors on the Game Boy Advance could not fit that, so they gave him...
Especially with the blue suit.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have looked really bad. So, they gave him the darker eyes, which were then, like, later officially, quote-unquote, changed to brown. But as the series got more high-res, i.e. as you moved into 3D, they kind of changed to, like, this brownish, grayish blue color, almost. Like, there's, like, no...
Yeah, it's definitely a hazel-y color, but, I mean, in the latest game, it's definitely blue.
Yes, it is, with official artwork. And so a lot of people have this headcanon, and Kaity and I adore the fuck out of this headcanon. I mean, I do, especially because I have a weakness for characters with this, that Nick is heterochromic. Which means one eye is brown and the other is blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, heterochromia, baby! To quote chat, yes. I have a weakness for characters with heterochromia. If you see me play Deadly Prem, you know I love Zack, who is heterochromic. Final Fantasy X, I love Yuna, she's heterochromic. I think it's so cool. I love heterochromia in characters, and it's not really used that often. I can understand why they don't in Ace Attorney, and I understand why it's a fanon. So, and I think it's very clever of the fans, actually, to point that out. But yeah, so, I mean, the HD does do good things for that. Like, it lets you see more, like, while you get things like Muppet Von Karma,
I'm sorry I pointed that out, except I'm not.
But, like, while you get things like Muppet Von Karma, and, like, some of the lines look weird, and, like, Frank saw it, you know, like, just looks so uncanny valley and shit like that, you also get really cool details that you tell they really wanted you to see, like, especially, like, the medals on Lana's, like the medals Lana's wearing. You get more details on those than you do in the sprites. Gant's eye color is very much that electric green, because, yeah, chat's right, on the DS, they look gray, pretty much. Like, it just because of the limitations still. So, but, yeah, you feelings barf about Gant, and I will step in when I can, because the reason Gant was on my shit list was actually... chat was screaming it, but we were still going through with a serious moment, so I wasn't going to interrupt for that. But it was when Gant was saying, we are the same, you and I. We're not so different. You'll end up seeing that. You know, you'll see what happens when you try to go it alone. When you're at the top, you're by yourself. And Gant was on my shit list for years.
You did not like him.
I didn't hate him. I thought he was a great villain. But, like...
yeah, that's why I didn't say hate. I said you just did not like.
Oh, yeah, no, but, like, as far as, like, personally, I thought he could go fuck right off. I was just like, fuck him, and the horse he rode in on, and everything he stands for, and all of this, and all of that. And, like, Kaity came in with a completely different perspective, and it, like, blew my mind wide open. And while it doesn't excuse what he has done to Miles, and how badly he has affected Miles, Kaity acknowledges that. Yeah. First off, she's not like, Damon Gant did nothing wrong. Like, this isn't a Damon Gant apologist.
No, no, I will definitely just be like, oh yeah, he's a fucking bastard. He did X, Y, and Z wrong. He should never have done these things.
But I'll step in when it comes to like, you can say your piece about Miles if you wish, and I'll step in with my own thoughts about that. But go, barf, emotion barf about Damon Gant. Go.
So, oh my god. So yeah, for this big bad, the reason I like him so much more than everyone is I have a thing for characters who we kind of see fall into madness or fall power hungry or stuff like that. And with Gant, that is exactly what we see. We have heard time and time again from everyone but Angel what a good person he was, what a great detective he was, how he just put his everything into it all. And then all of a sudden this situation happens and he's backed into a corner. They're all desperate and, you know, lapse in judgment, makes bad decisions, and he is a character who has been thrown into a pit and given a shovel, and instead of basically making a stairs to get out of it, he keeps digging himself deeper.
He doesn't know what else to do but dig.
Yeah, he doesn't know what else to do but dig, and eventually it all caves in on him, which we see in this case, is everything just finally collapses in. And unlike Von Karma or any of the other big bads, he doesn't, once he realizes it's game over, he doesn't keep fighting it. He doesn't, you know, just kind of scoff and just be like, you know, bang your gavel and get this over with. He acknowledges it. He's just like, you caught me.
Yeah, every other big bad in some way, shape, or form resists. And I'm not going to go through each of them because if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't.
Well, yeah, that's why I was just talking about.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, you did say every other big bad, and I was going to bring that up as well. Yeah. Every other big bad in some way fights, and that doesn't make them bad because holy shit, one of them scares the literal pants off of me. Like, I am terrified of that big bad, and I have been since day one. Yeah, okay, yep, chat's picking up what you're putting down. He's very noble in defeat, and he even admits that that Miles had what he never had. Miles has Nick. Exactly.
Yep. But the thing, even with that, Gant did have people. It was just he got so blinded by what he was trying to do that he forgot. He had the love and, you know, adoration of the entire department when it was deserved. It was absolutely deserved back then. And he had Lana, who was his partner for 3 years up until the point that she was transferred to, you know, being chief prosecutor. But in that moment that changed everything, he forgot that. He just went with what he thought was best, and that was the beginning of the end. He forgot that he had other people to fall back on.
He panicked. You said that to me so many times. He just panicked.
He just panicked. He even admits that with Bruce. He admits that he did it. He didn't know why he did it. He just did it. He panicked. There was nothing else that he could think to do because he wasn't thinking. And yeah, so like when it finally just falls in on him, he admits it. He panicked. He did all this stuff that was wrong. And I know you get super pissed about him telling Edgeworth that they're the same. But at the same time, that's kind of a wake-up call of being like, hey, you are going to turn it into me if you keep down this path.
Exactly. I was going to jump in and say that he's warning Miles. He's not just taunting Miles as much as he is trying to warn him. Because he's saying,
the computer, but when the cerebral part fails,
what do you do?
Yep.
Exactly. Damon Gant was a good man who genuinely wanted to stop crime by whatever means necessary. And the ends justifying the means took over what was good and right. And that was very eye-opening for me to actually fully realize that. And yeah, the thing about Miles is he was warning him. You know, he was saying, you know, if you I know, I was gagging in that too. Internally. But with Miles was still pushing everyone away. If Miles had continued down this path, he would have been alone. He told Udgy as much. Like, he said it in the beginning of the case. He said, you two make a good pair. He told Udgy, and, like, here's the thing. Gant also admits to everything, not venomously.
No, he
just confesses. It's just a plain confession, and then he's like, okay, it's time for me to go. I have to go.
And he willingly walks out to go get handcuffed and taken away. He doesn't have to be dragged away.
Yep. Yeah, Von Karma took the loss very poorly. He was like, Judge, just bang your gavel and get this over with. Bah! Blah, 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 blah. Like, Von Karma threw a fucking temper tantrum, essentially.
Yeah, he threw a very professional temper tantrum.
He was trying to be composed after he broke down screaming, I'll bury you. Death, death, death.
Yeah, I'll bury you with my own hands.
Yeah, like every other big bad kind of has like that kind of like freak out. Gant is the only one who is very graceful and is just like, you know what? I was better at solving crimes than I was committing them.
Because he realizes it's over, and in that moment, the facade is completely gone, and he just admits it. He goes back to being that good man that everyone says he was.
Yep, he's
even
all,
if it's just at the very end.
He's all smiles because, like Lana said, I feel so free of the weight, like of these shackles. And I feel like Gant feels the same. He's smiling because he feels free.
Yeah, he no longer has to put on this act because it's just all out in the open now.
There's only one other character I can remember who accepted their end this nobly. DM it? Oh, we're talking about big bads.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about big bads.
Yes, but you are correct with that, too.
Yeah. Yeah, you are correct with that. But we're talking in terms of the big bads, because there are a lot of them, because Miles has 2 in both of his games. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. Out of 11 big bads. He is really the only one to take it gracefully. Out of 11 characters. And again, that doesn't mean all the other big bads are terrible and blah, 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 blah.
No, not at all.
But it makes Gant very, very unique. But yeah, with Miles, he was warning him and he was trying to make him see that he has someone who is his opposite, that is willing to fight with him in order to find that truth that he so seeks. But Miles can't deny that he hates criminals. He can't, because he does. Yep. He hates them for what happened to Gregory. And that's how, like, and Manfred took advantage of that. Manfred took him in and took advantage of that and twisted him into the demon prosecutor. And so, like, Miles really, like, he needed that wake-up call because he was pushing everyone away just like Lana was. Gant saw what Lana did and was like, if Miles Edgeworth continues down this path, he will end up like me. And Miles realized that too. He even says it. He says he's right.
Yep.
If he hadn't said that, who knows, I may have done something similar
Yep.
to what Chief Gant did. So, oh,
You okay?
yeah, I was reading DMs.
Okay.
But yeah, so like while it is kind of gaslighting 101 to Miles, it's also a warning. Do I like it? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, it's just I was just saying it's absolutely a wake up call.
Yeah.
And
Does
a warning.
did Miles deserve it? Fuck no. Did he need it? Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He needed it. Are your feelings barf out about Gant? Do you have more to say?
I just love him. I love the jovial old bastard.
I think you did a very good job emoting with him, especially at the end. You really kind of portrayed like this reserved regret.
Kind of just regret and accepting.
Yes, it was very much acceptance. It was like there was a little bit of laughter because it's how he knows how to cope.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just laughs.
Yep.
But like I think you did a really good job in subtly emoting as Gant at the end. And fucking big round of applause to you for that, because that was excellent. I think for a character with so much depth, you've added even more. Just in your
Yay.
voice acting.
Yay.
So I think you did a great job. Because I heard this kind of quiet, reserved regret and just this acceptance and just tiredness. He's just so tired of it. He's tired of the facade. Like 2 years may not be a long time to some people, but for the chief of police,
Who admits he's a workaholic, so he's working all the time.
oh, your other point that you told me the other day.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, with all of that in mind for Gant, this is the man. Yes, oh my god, yes, your Emma was awesome.
Really? Because my Emma was just me, because I just had to settle on my own voice, because I'm like, I keep going into Maya.
But yes.
Oh, thank you.
But yes. This is with all that in mind now, with that possible new perspective of Damon Gant. He left the room exactly how it was. Why did that matter? Because this is a man who has been living with this for 2 years, and it's not a trophy. You can clearly see and just tell by how he acts, like especially at the end. This is not a trophy. This isn't something he's proud of.
Lana's desk was dusted. Nick made that observation. It was spotless. Lana's side of the room was spotless.
Yeah. So, for someone to be doing that and making sure that that's taken care of, and the fact that he didn't get rid of her stuff, it kind of just seems like he's trying to atone for it without really doing anything. Especially when he talks about preserving the crime scene, and the only time he says that, Gumshoe said it, the only time he talks about preserving the crime scene was when he was drunk at the party.
Yeah, he was drunk at a Christmas party, and drunk. What is it? There's a couple of different ways to say it, but it's a drunk lips speak sober thoughts, essentially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Kaity pointed that out to me the other day, and I was like, holy shit. Because, like, she had just thought of it, and I was like, wow.
Well, it was something I noticed on my last playthrough too, and then I just forgot to voice that. And that was the perfect time to voice it, because we had just finished investigating it.
Yeah. Because, yeah, it's like, I mean, make of it what you will, but, like, I agree. It seems to be some kind of reminder, at least. If not penance, a reminder of what he has become.
Mm-hmm. What he did. What he did to finally get that position. Because, I mean, otherwise, he would have had no reason to keep any of Lana's stuff there.
Well, it wasn't even getting the position. It was what he did to put Joe Dark away.
Yeah.
Because, like he said, because that's the other thing about Gant. He didn't do it for power. He did it to put Dark away.
Mm-hmm.
Because
him getting that promotion quicker was a bonus, but like they already all said, he was next in line to be chief. He didn't have to, worry about that. That position was going to fall into his lap regardless.
Yeah, I mean, he laughed at Nick when Nick was like, "Oh, you did it to become chief," and he's like, "You think I'm fucking stupid? No, I had the position. I got it like what, a year early? Okay.
Yeah, that was guaranteed to him regardless."
So a lot of people think with Angel's last real speech, not the credit speech, but like where Nick actually talks to her, how she talks about how he was a magnet for evidence, that he forged all this evidence, and that he worked with Von Karma, and he was just like a dark, bad person. And like one of the character designers has brought up this idea of like a darker look at the police force with the idea of Von Karma and Gant, but it's not really canonized, and the entire team doesn't really agree with it. They want everybody to kind of they want the fans to kind of have their own look on the characters before they make anything official. And like they kind of want the characters or they kind of want the fans to like have their own takes on the characters instead of just outright being like, Damon Gant was a corrupt person, because that makes him less interesting of a person, like less interesting of a character, if you have that morally gray, ambiguous area of, but what if he was a good person? What if Angel's just bitter and jaded and angry because she's the only one who says bad shit about him? And is it the fact that she's the only one who can see the truth? Or is it that she's just really fucking bitter and jaded? Given all previous evidence up to that point, her tampering with a crime scene, her spitting in the entire court's face, everyone's face, Lana's, Nick's, she's not outright disrespectful to the judge, but like she distracts him, she bribes him, like, and the fact that like she sneaks her way in, and she's just so sneaky and so determined to like prove Lana's guilt just because she's so hurt. Like Jake has like he gets saucy and salty and everything, but he doesn't get downright nasty. Angel gets mean. And she like they both carry a bitterness, but Jake's is regret. Jake just wants closure. He wants closure for his brother. Angel wants to know why Lana turned out the way she did, and that's totally fine, but the way Angel goes about it is terrible. So, given the way Angel acts, I'm inclined to believe that Angel is just blinded by pure hatred and spite. And
she's very biased.
And I really want to believe better of her. This isn't just because I don't like Angel. Like, I really want to believe better for her. Like, there are a couple of big bads that I think really don't carry much weight. It doesn't mean I'm not going to give them the respect they deserve when we go through these playthroughs. And it doesn't mean that, I'm not going to sit here and talk about what makes them likable to other people. I mean, some people, but like, I realize that a lot of people also probably look at Lana's bias, or not Lana's bias, at Angel's bias, because they're like, oh, well, she's spilling all, she's exposition dumping. So yeah, of course he forged evidence. Of course he did shit like work with Von Karma. It's like, if you think about their actual personalities, if you think about Manfred Von Karma's personality versus Damon Gant's personality, holy fucking shit, those two would not get along. They'd be like oil and water.
Also,
Raised hand?
Yes. What's going on, chat?
I could go into a whole nother tangent, but I'm not going to.
Oh, about all the amazing fan art? Oh, where you just kind of like, you didn't realize that like, oh, Angel is an unreliable narrator. That kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of Ace Attorney, though. It's like you play it through and you see different angles and you get different people's opinions on things and you decide whether you agree or disagree with them. It's really cool. Like, it's not like, it's funny because, hang on, I have trouble staying in universe and not being meta about, oh, she has no reason to be lying from a narrative standpoint, so she isn't. But I love all of that a lot. Yeah, and I mean, like, you don't have to agree with it. I mean, God knows I disagree with a lot of things that a lot of fans have come up with. Because what? Why? But, like, in the end, it's just all of our own headcanons and all of our own opinions and shit. I mean, I have a friend who loves the original trilogy and hates Gant. Gant is, like, their least favorite character. They cannot stand him. And it actually kind of makes me sad.
Now it makes you sad?
No, it did even then.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought he was still a great character. I can dislike somebody and think they're a great character.
Very true.
So, yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot to Gant. There's a lot of facets, but yeah, a lot of people are actually drawing Gant and, Von Karma together with, like, my favorite one was, like, where he's, like, they're, like,
the Friends one?
Yeah, the Friends one, where it's, like, Gant's, like, in 80s clothes, so he's, like, in shorter shorts, and, like, this...
It's all neon.
Yeah, like, this, he's got, like, this pink polo, and he's got, like, these neon glasses, and his hair's got, like, blonde streaks in it. And it's something like, and Von Karma still looks like, you know, stuffy and dressed to the nines, but he's not in, like, the suit that we see him in. And, he's in, like, a sort of a lighter version than that. And, Gant's just essentially like, you know, like, do you talk to all of your friends like this? And Von Karma's like, we're not friends, you know, and Gant's like, well, do you even have any friends?
No, do you have any friends besides me?
Oh, yeah.
We're not friends. Are they imaginary?
Yeah, that was it. I don't know who that artist is, but they were on Twitter. Kaity found it and sent it to me on Twitter, and it is hysterical. So if the artist of that happens to come across this, fucking bless you, because that is wonderful, and I fucking wish I knew who it was.
I found it.
You found it? What's their handle?
Rock Turbot.
Rock Turbot?
Yep.
Okay. So, bless Rock Turbot because fantastic, amazing, mwah, chef's kiss. It's hilarious. And plus there are characters that we're going to meet along the way. Like, Kaity and I have talked about this whole thing about, like, because we will see Von Karma later in flashbacks. I have alluded to that. So that's, I feel like me saying that isn't really a spoiler because he is such a huge influence on the rest of the series. Because I talked about how Turnabout Goodbyes is an influence on the rest of the series. So we're going to see Von Karma again in different capacities. And so we also get more of a glimpse into other detectives that were working at the time. And Kaity has this wonderful, wonderful headcanon about Gant getting so tired of having to work with this fucking... Oh! I think you found them on, I think you found the exact same thing.
That was because that's exactly where I found it too, was their Tumblr for archived art. Yeah, their art archive.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Twitter.
No.
Oh, it was a Twitter prompt. That's why I thought of it. Google Foo strong. Your Google Foo is strong. Mine is very weak.
Yes.
But
my
your headcanon is Gant is so fucking tired of dealing with him that he looks at all the other detectives and he's like, well, let's draw straws.
Yep.
Like, it's really funny to think of stuff like that, and I love people who look into that more of, like, he worked with Von Karma, but, like, think about their fucking personalities. Would he really have gotten along with him?
Also, Von Karma was known for forging evidence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could have been given the most, innocent stuff and he would still have twisted it around.
Exactly. And well, I just had a light bulb go off. That may have actually contributed to Gant's reputation.
Yeah.
As well. Because if he handed evidence to Von Karma saying, I found this for you, sir, and Von Karma turns around and
basically chucks it in the trash and makes his own.
Or improves it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes improvements to it, adds a couple of blood spatters here and there, from the victim's blood. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, takes a knife to it, something like that. If he just improves it to make it stronger for his case, all they're really going to hear about is the results from the case, from the trial. We don't know we don't know what evidence, Gant may have given Von Karma that Von Karma just completely fucked with. And that could also have affected Gant's reputation as an evidence magnet.
Yep.
Because, the dude was 65 years old. Lana and Jake and Bruce and Angel were all not working with him for that long. This is all hearsay. This is all that they've heard. He's an evidence magnet. The crime computer. So, it's very interesting feelings on Damon Gant. I feel like I hijacked your tirade, but...
No, it's fine.
I wanted to keep the tidal wave going. Because you made me appreciate Damon Gant.
He is a character who deserves so much appreciation.
He gets it.
He does.
He definitely gets it. Oh, okay, you had messaged me while I was just staring off into space about it. Sorry about that. But now, about Rise from the Ashes overall. So, this, again, as a reminder, was written with the idea of Ace Attorney 4 in mind. To connect... To build a bridge between the end of the trilogy and 4. And... how does it hold up? How does it compare? The literary analysis portion, here we go. Me. I do this all the fucking time. It holds up really well, I think. We've made commentary on this before, but they were definitely prepping to write Apollo when they wrote Phoenix.
Yeah, with Nick's attitude.
Yeah, with Nick's tude. Thankfully, there were reasons for Nick to be acting like the way he was. He misses Maya. He's probably trying to reach out to Miles, and Miles isn't really, being very, Miles isn't really reciprocating. Larry seems to have fucked off and gone after a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, Nick is lonely. He's lost, and he's still grieving Mia's death. This is February. Mia died in September.
Yeah, so this is a half a year, essentially.
He's still grieving the death of his mentor, and I always had the headcanon that he had it was a one-sided thing, but he had a crush on her. I always thought he had a crush on Mia. So Nick was definitely he's still grieving the loss of his old mentor and his friend, and his mentor and his friend, and now the loss of this little sister that popped into his life. And so, yeah, he has a right to be salty, but at the same time, you could definitely tell that they were trying to get Apollo's attitude down, because some of the things he says are downright nasty.
Oh my god. Yeah, he is just an angry person at times.
Yeah, and that is Apollo in Game 4 for reasons we will see, but...
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there, but Apollo desperately needed the Dual Destinies treatment. And I was shocked to find out recently. I felt my whole world go into tunnel vision when I found out that someone thought that what they did with Apollo in Dual Destinies murdered his character. I felt like my whole world just... Because that's one of my biggest ticks in Dual Destinies' favor, was that they made Apollo his own character. They made him his own person. Because in 4, the way Nick is amplify that by 10 and you've got Apollo. And again, Polly has his reasons. He absolutely has his reasons.
Which we'll talk about. Get back to Rise to the Ashes.
Yeah,
Rise from the Ashes.
But I mean, it ties so much into AA4. We have to at least talk about some
acknowledge
consequences. Yeah. They made him a whole ass character and not just Nick, but mad constantly. Says someone who has Apollo as their favorite fucking character in the whole series.
Yes, I am also super glad they kept it grounded in what happened between the games.
Yes. I think it actually added more to Miles. I really do. I think what we see between, I think the original transition, and if you really want the full effect of it, you watch the anime, because the anime does not include Rise from the Ashes. So you see that transition. I heard that, boo. From, I mean, I agree. From the Von Karma case to the beginning of 2. And kind of. They kind of fuck with the timeline a little bit, but it's all okay. From the timeline, essentially into 2. And it's jarring. It's not as seamless. Rise from the Ashes definitely lent that push. They showed you how much pressure Miles was under. He was in the inquiry committee twice. He was getting nosebleeds from stress. He was being punished by the inquiry committee. The PIC, as we will know that they will be called. The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee. Don't worry about that. That's an Ace Attorney Investigations 2 thing, but they're officially called the PIC. So, I mean, and there were just rumors flying everywhere still about the forged evidence, and the fact that he was acquitted of murder didn't mean that he was okay in the public's eyes. This was very much, how does the public affect what happens? And that was very important for Miles, because he finally started to care that he was called the Demon Prosecutor. He finally started to give a shit, because he was freed of his own chains. But it's not unlike Lana and Gant, who found freedom in it. Miles didn't know what to do.
Yeah, he was lost.
Miles was very lost. And this case excels in showing that. And you see how people keep trying to reach out to him, and he keeps pushing them away. Like, Nick visits him every day, and he's more receptive of Nick, and he is teasing. People seem to forget, and I love this line where Emma's like, man, whoever owns this must be a real stuck-up jerk, and then Miles walks in and she freaks out. And he's like, well, what can I help you with? And he's like, what can I help you with? But I will warn you, I've been known to be a real stuck-up jerk. I feel like nobody really talks about that. I think it's such a cute line. Because Miles is finally, like, while he's under so much stress, you also kind of see a bit of who he actually is.
Yeah, a little bit of the playfulness.
Yeah. It's so good. Like, so it's very good at bridging the gap for Miles. I think it adds a lot more impact to what his actions leading into 2 are. Does it mean that what he does is correct? No. But does it mean that did he need to do it? Yeah. He would have suffocated.
Yeah, he would have.
He straight up would have suffocated. And overall, Rise from the Ashes, I really think, gives the first game the staying power that it has. Because it's like, if you think about all the cases, like, they're good. Like, the Red-White case is excellent. A lot of people, I mean, like, Frank Sawit is actually, I think, a great villain because he's a realistic one. He's the kind that actually, like, you run into every day.
Yeah, we actually talked about that before. Like, Frank Sawit and Red-White are your everyday villains, just on different scales.
Yep. Red is a
corporate corruption.
Yeah, the corporate corruption, and Frank is your everyday burglar. They are very overlooked villains. Like, in the grand scheme of things, people people forget about Frank and Red. They're like, whatever, but like, to me, Red is like one of the worst, like, minor bads. He is terrible. He is a scummy piece of shit. Like, he murdered Mia Fey, for God's sake. And, like, that's gonna carry a lot more weight once you start to see how much of a badass bitch Mia actually is. Her, like, really, it's sort of like a retrospective thing where yeah, exactly. Red White gets scarier with every passing year. That is exactly correct, actually, chat. You nailed it. 100%. And, like, the Steel Samurai case is fun. Turnabout Samurai is really fun. I just find it to be a fun case. I really enjoy it. You know my feelings about Turnabout Goodbyes. But in the wake of the stakes that climb in 2, and then how it all culminates at the end of 3 to end a trilogy, I feel like 1 could have very easily been buried in the trilogy as a weaker entry. And that's not to say that the first 4 cases would have held it up. Like, it couldn't have held it up, but I think Rise from the Ashes really gives 1 that extra bit of boost it needs to stay. Because now when you talk to people and you talk about the trilogy, 9 times out of 10, I hear people waffling about 1 and 3 being their favorites, and a lot of people ultimately choosing 1. Just for the sake of, you not only have Farewell My Turnabout, but you also, or not Farewell My Turnabout, sorry, that's the last case in a different game. Turnabout Goodbyes, but you also have Rise from the Ashes. Up until Daigyakuten, this is the only case without the fucking word turnabout in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it really gives 1 the extra staying power it needed to really stay among fans in the trilogy, to be like, no, 1 still has the staying power. Because generally, when you talk about a series that keeps building on itself like Ace Attorney does, Ace Attorney knows how to build and it knows how to scale it back. But when you're talking about a series as massive as Ace Attorney that keeps kind of aiming higher and higher, and honestly, I think this is kind of what they need to do for 7. They need to scale it back. Because they shot really hard in 2. They went up really high, and then I think in 3, they actually scaled it back. They made it more personal for the characters. And in making it more personal for the characters, it became far more intense. So I think that's what 7 needs to do, because they have been shooting real high, like really fucking high, like absurdly high, like Fonzie is jumping the shark kind of high. And I think 7 kind of needs to scale it back a bit. So I think Rise from the Ashes helps do that. I think Rise from the Ashes is still something personal, because Nick looks at Emma and Lana, and he sees Maya and Mia. And it's also the fact that Mia and Lana knew each other. They were friends. You want to know more about their friendship.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, don't get me started, because I can talk about how Toriyama has written himself
nope,
into
I'm
a
cutting
corner.
you off.
I
Don't
know.
you fucking dare.
I'm
Nope.
not. But just let me say, I can talk for hours about how Toriyama has written himself into a corner. And you agree with me.
I do, but nope, cutting you off because I'm not letting you go on that tangent.
I know, thank you. But all I'm saying is...
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Stop. All I'm saying is I could talk for hours about it. And I agree with chat. But if you know what happens in Ace Attorney 4, holy shit, the foreshadowing is not subtle.
No, it's not.
They smack you in the face with it really hard, but like... It feels natural.
Yes, because I was gonna say, me as a first time, going through it for the first time, I was just like, doop-a-doop-a-doo.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I was like, oh yeah, those are all really kind of scary things to think about. Doop-a-doop-a-doo.
And then you hit Ace Attorney 4, and you're like, oh man.
Oh, and then you're just like, yeah, it's just like, oh no.
Not even that. Sometimes you're just like, oh man, this stinks. And then you go back and replay the series with the memories of 4, and you're like, oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Like, all I can say, if you haven't played 4, is that they have pretty much spelled out for you a lot of the major plot points in 4. They've essentially spelled out what makes 4, like, they've spelled out the fantastic parts of 4. The parts of 4 that shine so brilliantly in my eye, at least to me. That make 4 really, really good. Like, the meat and potatoes of 4. So the foreshadowing is very not subtle. See also reasons why Apollo did not become an enjoyable character to me until my second playthrough of 4. Yeah, I hated that bitch until I replayed AJ in preparation for AA5. Yeah, a lot of people don't care for Apollo their first time through.
I'm one of those people.
I didn't mind him. I think Dual Destinies gave him the characterization he desperately needed. But I've already said that. But like, the foreshadowing in Rise from the Ashes is good. But like, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think about it giving 1 kind of the staying power instead of it being buried in 3? You know, like, because I never really got to finish that thought. Like, when you're going through a series like Ace Attorney and you hit the end of the trilogy, it's really like the end of this trilogy is mind blowing. It's spectacular. It's like, there's no way to describe it until you get there, and I think like, without 1, we would not have had 3, but I've seen so many instances of a lot of people kind of almost like if you look at, like, say, like the Halo games almost. I'm just pulling this out of my ass right now. But like, if you ask someone like Halo 1, 2, or 3, for nostalgia's sake, a lot of people will say 1.
Yeah, it's gonna either usually be 1 or 3.
Exactly, but a lot of people are gonna say 3 because of how it escalated well and naturally, and how it ended, and the build-up, and blah blah. So like, I mean, and I know I cried like a bitch at the end of 3. And so, but like, usually for like nostalgia's sake, people usually say 1 is usually their favorite entry for a series. And like, they'll admit it 9 times out of 10. They're like, oh, it's nostalgia. But I really like, you know, this one. So like, but like, what do you think about Rise from the Ashes? Giving it the staying power that it really needed to be a fierce competitor for Trials and Tribulations.
I mean, hang on, I'm just reading chat really quick.
I think the echoes of Turnabout Goodbyes linger in 2 enough, and that have direct input on the story that 1 might not entirely be buried. They have a direct impact on the story moving forward. But I think Rise from the Ashes definitely deepened it and gave it a lot more complexity. Okay.
That was pretty much what I was going to... That was more or less what I was going to say, actually.
Okay.
Because, I mean, really, Turnabout Goodbyes was the big case. That was the big thing in the first game. And if it... One thing, just one, like, really amazing thing can be what you remember about the game, but otherwise the rest of the game could easily be lost.
I mean, and it kind of... Oh, go ahead.
And giving it not 1, but 2 really solid, amazing, hit you in the gut, essentially, cases really gave it what it needed to for people to be like genuine, like, not nostalgia's sake, just be like, yes, no, 1.
Okay, so essentially you agree with me in a much more concise way, because I like to ramble. Hello. Hi. It me.
Yes.
That. I'm not good at enunciating when I'm like put on the spot. But like, yeah, I agree that's much more succinct, because a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people forget about Frank. A lot of people forget about Frank. A lot of people forget about Red. They don't really care. They're like, they're chump change. And I'm like, they're not chump change. They're fucking scary, dude.
I mean, that's fair that Turnabout Goodbyes is, like, the one you think of when you think of, like, AA1, because, I mean, Rise from the Ashes really is kind of just its own beast entirely tacked onto the first game.
It is, but it's like, you don't realize that until you don't realize that until you find out about it. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was fucking shocked when I was like, this wasn't originally part of the fucking thing. Let's see. Turnabout Goodbyes is the case I remember about in 1, not Rise from the Ashes. Goodbyes is the one that carries the whole series for me. I mean, I agree with Goodbyes on that. I've already talked about the ripple effect it has. I mostly think about Rise from the Ashes when I think about 5. The previous cases clearly mattered, though, structurally and character-wise. Their echoes are more subtle, but they're very present. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think of both, though. I think of both cases, because Rise from the Ashes is so powerful. Because, I mean, apparently this is still a thing. But again, I don't really interact with fandom, and I try not to. Because, oh boy, fandom can make or break my opinion on something very easily.
Which we've been discussing as of recently.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a matter for not on stream.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I can roundabout bring it up in a more succinct way. But like for a really long time, back in like my high school days at least, Damon Gant was the be-all end-all of the entire trilogy. He was the one villain everyone talked about, at least that I saw. He was the one that everyone was like, oh my fucking god. Like, they were like, sure, Von Karma, fucking scary as shit, sure. It's two people. It's one other big bad, and it's Gant. And they like the other big bad for the shock value that big bad brings them. That's safe enough to say. They really like the big bad from, but like, for me, it was not Damon Gant, so I was very surprised. For me, it was the big bad of 3. Because I played 3 first, so that was what left the biggest impression on me. And 3's big bad, Jesus fucking Christ. Help me. Help me. He really sets the bar for multi-dimensional Ace Attorney villains. You don't have to be 3-dimensional to be a good villain, but Gant is a good goddamn example of a 3-dimensional villain. Yeah, he is. And he makes you think about villains in 3 dimensions. That's the thing. He makes you sit back and go, what about the others? And then you start rotating Manfred von Karma around. And you start studying what Manfred von Karma has done, because, again, we will see the ripple effect from him. And how he affected characters that we haven't even met yet. Who become very major players. And it makes you look at the other big bads and turn them around and go, what more is there to you? Like, if I turn you another direction, are you gonna go flat? Or are you going to stay solid and kind of, you know, be as kind of strong as this character? And Gant, yeah, I agree, Gant really set the precedent for it. And that's why Rise from the Ashes stays so much in my mind. Because besides the other big bad who was there for shock, well, who wasn't there, but like who shocked a lot of people, I should say. Because I didn't want to say he's there for shock value, because that's not correct at all. But who shocked a lot of people. He's the one who sticks out. It's usually one or the other. Von Karma is he's he's disliked across the board, and he has fans across the board because he's a goddamn good character. He's a great character. But like, Damon Gant was like the fucking be-all end-all for a long-ass time when I was in high school and going in through college. And then I fell out of it. And now I'm like back in it.
It's my fault.
And now I'm just like, what is going... But now I'm seeing like all these different hot takes and I'm like, what the fuck? The first big multi-dimensional villain I could think of that wasn't multi-dimensional and that they have two distinct facets that they switch between at predictable intervals is AA4.
It is my fault. You were just like, okay, I've done it. I'm ready to go back, and I'm like, nope, come on, bitch.
Oh,
back on the AA train.
With Daigakuten, yeah, I was finally starting to like fall back, kind of like, yeah, I was starting to fall comfortably back into Kingdom Hearts, and you were like, choo choo, Ace Attorney, and I'm like, Ace Attorney, did you say Ace Attorney? Did you say Ace Attorney?
Well, I mean, yeah, because, the thing was,
Bitch, I'm on
I know
that train. Here's the lawyer train, beep beep thump thump.
I was gonna say, because the thing, I know I told you whenever 7 or any other new entry comes out.
Yes. This makes my heart, like, just go fuzzy.
Why?
Because fuzzy in a good way.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, just because you got me into the series, and when I play it, I want to have someone who has gone through it, who absolutely loves it. So I absolutely will be waiting for you to tell me that you beat it so I can go and play.
Yeah, that gives me, like, the warm fuzzies in, like, the best way.
Because I'm kind of, like, bowing to you to be like, you're the one who dragged me into this, so... Elders first, essentially.
I absolutely do not do the same thing.
No, you don't.
I'm like, bitch, I'm suffering in Kingdom Hearts and you are suffering with me for a third time. You did this to yourself.
God. 3 times that ending, man.
Mm-hmm. When I eventually get around to streaming it, it'll be a 4th.
Oh, goody.
By that time, Kingdom Hearts 4 will probably be out. To be perfectly honest with you. I will not read what you have just said, chat. I was stating some time about how one of our reconnecting after many years of quiet friendship termination was me going, help, I hate and love Miles, I want to boot and hug him at the same time. That was when we were both in college. Oh, okay. Yeah, Miles, I mean, but Miles is meant to be that way. You are really, like, at first you are meant to hate Miles, because Kaity was going through it like, this dude, this motherfucker, this piece of shit, this asshole, and I'm just sitting here, like, crying quietly, like, just clutching.
And then I was just like, this goddamn... Oh no.
No. Not all of them.
Not all of them.
Actually, 4 and 5 were a pretty... No, 5 as well, actually. I didn't hate 5's prosecutor. I was more wondering what the fuck his deal was. And then he ended up... And I actually didn't hate 3's either.
I wanted to throttle 3's every now and again.
Well, I mean, that is the nature of 3's prosecutor.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that you are supposed to dislike them. Yes. The one I actually felt active hate towards was 6's. Which is one of my chat's favorite prosecutors. Oh. It's so tasty for 6, but at the same time, it is the Achilles heel of 6. Yeah, that's the problem. He's a rat bastard for so long, and it's like, he needs to be. for the story to work, but at the same time, it is so bad for his character at the same time. But, like, I don't know. I was never really... A fucking molten Brussels sprout. Holy shit. You have such amazing insults, chat. But, like, Five's prosecutor, I was more like, why the fuck is he allowed to do this? I was more, like, confused about what his deal was, and I was fascinated by him. I didn't really dislike, Daigyakuten's, prosecutor either. I was more intrigued. I was more like, what's your deal? Yeah, I know, you got compromised.
It did take a while. It was one line, and I was just like, yep, I love him.
Yeah, it was one deadpan, it was one throwaway deadpan line.
I think that's what it is with just characters, too, is... Because even with Gant, it was just him staring that I was just like, I'm charmed. Fuck it, I love him. Before he even said a word.
But, like, with,
And then this one character, and that's just like a throwaway moment, and then this one character just has this throwaway line that I'm just like, yep, I love him.
I think there's supposed to be bastions of hatred and inaccessibility towards the defense, and how the player feels about it is up in the air. Yeah, they're definitely supposed to be bastions of, tumultuous feelings towards the defense, and yeah, how the player feels about it. Yeah, they're outright antagonistic in their own ways, barring AA4, who is lovely and I love him. I agree.
Yes.
He's
sweet boy.
Oh my god. Smooch on the face. But like, you were absolutely not supposed to like Miles, and then, oh boy, they hit you right in the gut with the feels with Miles.
Oh yeah, they did.
Like, they hit you in the gut with the feels on a lot of prosecutors, but Miles hits the hardest, I think, because he's so important to Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, I think that's really it. But yeah, I think Rise from the Ashes does hold up, and I think it gives one that staying power that it needs to be more than just nostalgia in a series that builds upon itself so well. Oh my god.
Sorry. You were being serious and I read chat.
That's why I looked down, because I was like, holy shit. I'm gonna put that in a group chat.
Just do it like have it always.
And then pin it.
Yep, to have it always.
Burnt chicken nugget is ready to carry all that hate in his tiny, breaded, crispy soul. And y'all aren't gonna know who the fuck we're talking about, because we're not talking about Miles. Pinned. Okay. We'll touch upon that when we get there. Which will be a while, because we're gonna do the trilogy, then we're gonna do the investigations games, then we're gonna go through. We're doing things mostly chronologically, sans Daigyakuten. That is the last. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Miles hits the hardest because he's so important to Nick. He's the reason Nick did all of this. He's the reason Nick is who he is. And whether you want to see that in a shippy way or not, it's just a fact. He is the reason.
We over here see it in a shippy way, as you can very likely tell.
Most people do. I do know a couple of people who don't, and that is totally fine. It is a-okay. Everyone is allowed to ship what they ship. I say this very lovingly to my friends who don't. I don't understand you. Yes. Same, chat. I cannot outright say it, but there is someone else that Nick could possibly be canon with. And that was actually me for the longest time. Like, until I played through 1. See, I don't... That second pairing, I don't. I don't. Nope. But, like, the one that could actually be, like, very canon with Nick, and, like, and was at one point canon with Nick, I will say that. I was just, like, so on board with it. And I love and support that ship and those people, and, like, people who, like, we love and appreciate that character in this house.
Yes.
100%. Yeah, just... Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into, like, shipping dynamics and shit. We'll cross that bridge when we go to AA4. Because that is how... I'll keep it brief. But 4 is how... 4 showcases how... Generally, when I want to ship something, I go looking for fanfic. So... And if a fanfic can convince me, good. But that's a double-edged sword. Because a fanfic can also turn me the fuck off to a pairing. To quote Meg from Hercules, faster than a Peloponnesian minute.
Nice.
And thank you. And hello, Disney movies live rent-free in my head. As they do with all of us here in chat. But the main pairing in 4, nope. Absolutely not. Like, I actually get more vitriol every time it's brought up. Because it's portrayed so badly. And it's not due to any friends I have that ship it, because I do have friends that ship it. And they've mentioned it, and I'm like, good for you. That's cool. I just don't really engage in the discourse because I didn't want to, and they didn't really want to engage in the discourse on Wrightworth, so I didn't engage them on a discourse on Wrightworth. It's fine. You are entitled to ship what you ship. I am entitled to not like something because the fan base has really made me hate it that much because they can't build themselves a solid fucking case. Because the concept of the ship sinks itself. And it makes me, it eats me up inside because it could be something good. And with Wasted Potential, I go one of two ways. I support it wholeheartedly, or I hate it. And I don't know where it's gonna go. I never know which way it's gonna go, and it just happens. And in this case, it turns me into a ball of rage and squick and no. But that doesn't mean I begrudge anybody who ships it. Because everybody has the right to like what they like. Even if I disagree with them. Because as long as it makes them happy, who gives a shit what I think? To be perfectly honest. I am one person in the spec of millions. I'm just here to share what I love, and I'm not here to dunk on anyone's personal preferences. But I'm here to share mine. And mine is motherfucking Wrightworth.
Oh.
The rule one... The one rule my mother grounded in my head. As long as you aren't hurting yourself or anyone else. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That's the thing. And, like, I've cleared this with Kaity. I'm like, are you okay running Wrightworth gags? And she's like, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
like, yeah. So, like, this is stuff I've, like, cleared with her. You know? Like, so for those, you know, who are watching this back and are like, oh, you know, you say that, but then, you know, you shove Wrightworth down my fucking throat. Dur, 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 dur. If you don't enjoy it, don't watch it. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not saying it's the best. I said I respect people who don't ship Wrightworth. I do. I don't understand it, but I respect it. You have a right to look at these two and go, they're platonic as hell. What are you talking about? Just like I have a right to look at these two and go, Capcom, you're barely trying at this point. You've been barely trying from day one. Unnecessary feelings. I have been saddled with unnecessary feelings.
I mean, I'm also here for all the right words, so.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, we went off on just an Ace Attorney tangent, but you kind of can't help but talk about the other games that you talk about one in particular, because they all kind of weave into each other eventually.
Mm.
But for those who have stuck around for nearly 3 hours, thank you. Also, Kaity, thank you.
Yes.
I know you've been in incredible pain. How are you doing?
I need to take another icy hot bath and lay down.
Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Hopefully an incoming DM for the WAA. But, yeah, so, okay. For those of us still here, for anyone who just listened to this verbal vomit, thank you so much. If you're watching this in stream right now, at 10:30 p.m., if you are watching this on YouTube later, my videos have actually been getting hits. I'm very flattered. I just want to share this series that I love so fucking much with the rest of the world. And I know I said that in my intro video, but like, I love Ace Attorney so much. And I don't mean to gatekeep people in by saying that, because I have actually, someone has tried to use this series against me, like to gatekeep me. They were saying that they bought their DS purely to play the system, therefore they had more of a right to like it than I did, and I don't think that's right or proper. It's just, I'm just doing this because I just love this series, and I just want to share it with people. And I think it's fun. And I think it would just be something really fun to do. And I don't care that it's become a common Let's Play thing. I know Mankey and ProZD did a series on it. I haven't watched it. I know the Game Grumps did a series on it. I haven't watched it. I've watched, like, compilations of them shipping Wrightworth. That's all I've watched. Really, like, I don't, like, I purposefully avoided the playthroughs so I could go into this with my own fresh perspective, my own jokes, my own everything, and put my own passion forward. And I'm very much thankful to Kaity for agreeing to do this with me, because I could not do it without you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad we can do this.
Yeah, I mean it. I could not do this without you. It'd be boring for me to voice everybody myself.
Yeah. I mean, plus we get to bounce off of each other, and now we got a couple in jokes.
Exactly. It's more fun. Exactly. We love the Kaity. Aw, we love the... Aw, thank you. We love everybody. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. But, like, seriously, thank you guys so much. So we don't burn ourselves out on the series, because it is an inevitability if we just continue playing the game straight. I will be taking breaks. I have an idea of what to do between the games, but right now I will say the next game I plan on playing is what is it officially called? If you have been hanging around or snooping around my YouTube channel for a while, you may have noticed I played Kathy Rain a couple of years ago. 2020. I played it in August of 2020. It was the last time I played it, and that was for stream. They came out with a director's cut that got a... Oh, what are you? it got crazy good scores. Like, I think it got like a 95 to a 98 on Metacritic. 97%. That's it right there. 97% positive reviews. So I am interested to see how much they have expounded upon the original game. You don't need to know anything about Kaity Rain previously, because this is just it's Joel Staffhosto taking what he has learned from making Whispers of a Machine, which I have yet to play. I'm sorry, and a lot of critique that came about from Kaity Rain, and I've talked a lot about it. I wrote a review about it. Blah blah blah. Going back and revisiting it, and maybe this will tie up some loose ends that we felt were there. So that's what I'll be doing next. And then we will be going back to Ace Attorney. So there's going to be a game in between every Ace Attorney entry, just so we don't get burned out, and that's why this is a project that is going to last a while. But, yeah, up next is Kaity Rain, the Director's Cut. I am fucking stoked. And I hope you guys are excited too. So, I've had a blast going through Ace Attorney 1 with you, Katie.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know. We were both nervous at first. I wheedled you into it, but...
Yes, I got to debut one of the voices for the next game, and I'm so glad that like you and Chad are so stupidly excited and approved.
I've been so stupidly excited, and I can't. I just can't. It's so... Oh, so cute. So fucking cute. I'm just gonna face plant how fucking cute it is. God damn. I knew it was gonna be good. She's one of your favorite assistants.
He is.
So... But, yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching all of this. And again, thank you especially to Katie. And we'll be back to Ace Attorney, but so we don't suffer any burnout, it'll just be back to Katie as my mod in chat. And Kaity Rain, the Director's Cut, will be next. So I hope you guys are excited about that, because I'm excited about that. So, yeah, so if you don't plan on watching that and you're just waiting on Ace Attorney 2, we'll see you there.
See you wherever we see you.
Yeah, we will see you wherever. Yeah, exactly. We'll see you wherever we see you. But thank you guys so much for watching. And, yeah, this is Danny.
And Katie.
Signing out from Ace Attorney 1. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. It is done. Close the book on it. It's finished. Put it on your shelf. Feel good about it. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Take it easy.